They say history is the best teacher. Well, only if you're willing to learn. If you are dead set on ignoring the past, you walk into the same trap again and again, and that's exactly what America is doing in Pakistan. According to media reports, the US government is negotiating a strategic agreement with Pakistan. What is this deal about? Using Pakistani airspace. If this deal is signed, America can use the Pakistani airspace for operations in Afghanistan to launch airstrikes, to send spy drones, basically to carry on their so-called anti-terror operations. What's in it for Pakistan? Well, we can think of three things. Number one, a reset in diplomatic ties. Joe Biden is reassessing his relations with Pakistan. Remember, he still hasn't spoken to Imran Khan. 10 months, no phone call. With this deal, that may change, and Islamabad is really hoping to get back in the good books of the Americans. Number two, maybe some help on the home front. Pakistan's own Islamists are on the march, as you just saw. The government could use America's help in the conflict ahead. Maybe weapons, maybe funds, more likely both. And number three, an attempt to draw the US away from India. This is what Pakistan wants. But will Joe Biden agree to these terms? He hasn't yet. The negotiations are still happening. Officially, Pakistan's foreign ministry has denied these US media reports. Here's what they said, and I have a quote here. No such understanding is in place. Pakistan and the US have long-standing cooperation on regional security and counter-terrorism, and the two sides remain engaged in regular consultations. This is what the foreign ministry of Pakistan is saying. It's like a deja vu. America once again trusting Pakistan, once again recruiting them in the war on terror. We thought Washington had learnt its lessons, but clearly they haven't. They walked into the same trap in the year 2001, and 20 years later, they're doing the very same thing again. Pakistan is not interested in fighting terrorism. They see the Taliban as a geopolitical tool. They still harbor Al-Qaeda terrorists, the same Al-Qaeda that orchestrated the 9/11 attacks. So why is America hell-bent on partnering with Pakistan? Because they're desperate. The US does not have a staging ground near Afghanistan, no airbase, no field office, nowhere to run intelligence operations from. The nearest US base is in West Asia, in Qatar and the UAE. So right now, American drones are flying more than 1,800 kilometers. They fly around Iran, into the Pakistani airspace, and cross over to Afghanistan. It's a long and turbulent flight, literally and otherwise. You see, this current setup is temporary. American planes can use Pakistani airspace, but Islamabad can pull the plug any time. They can effectively block America's access to Afghanistan. Hence Joe Biden's desperation. With a formal agreement in place, the US will have guaranteed access. Biden's other option is Central Asia. He could try and secure a military base in Uzbekistan or Tajikistan. He wouldn't need Pakistan then. But there's a Vladimir Putin-sized problem there. Central Asia is Russia's backyard, and President Putin will not be thrilled about American bases there. So that's almost a non-starter. Which leaves Biden with Pakistan. America needs strong intelligence in Afghanistan, strong and reliable intelligence. Or else we could be looking at wayward drone strikes, like the one we saw in August. The Pentagon thought they had hit a suicide bomber in Kabul. In reality, they had killed an aid worker and his family. That's the cost of bad intel. And Pakistan knows it. They know that America is running out of options. They know how desperate Joe Biden is, and they're cashing in. But the question is, what is America losing in this deal? We'll have to wait for the specifics, but the overall optics are definitely not good. Earlier this month, American diplomat Wendy Sherman visited Islamabad. She said that the visit was for a very specific and narrow purpose. She said the United States was not interested in a broad relationship. Less than 20 days later, we get this news. It tells you a lot about America's resolve. This deal may not get through. It still may get derailed. There could be a last-minute cancellation. But the fact that America is even considering this option tells us one thing. 20 years of war, 2,000 plus deaths, and billions of dollars spent, but America still hasn't learned the most important lesson, that you cannot trust Pakistan. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.